with regard to our Indian system, Indian economic system, and Indian political system. So, what, in your opinion, are the most important issues in India? Probably some of you will speak about education, that India has a very low literacy rate, very low education among people, and that is why there is so much of underdevelopment. So many problems are there. Most of the problems like uh, lack of cleanliness, lack of proper order, lack of proper systems, disturbances, high population growth. All these are associated directly or indirectly with the problem of education, because we do not have good quality education and we do not have even proper education act. So the most important thing in this direction is the right to education. Right to education came as a bill in 2009 and got enacted, and now it is by law. So the law came into force from 1st April 2010, and it's a part of it's a part of Indian Constitution. You must remember Article 21A of Constitution is about a right to education, and so we are far behind other countries. In fact, 134 countries were ahead of us to make right to education a fundamental right. Anyway, we are 135th country in the world to introduce right to education as a fundamental right. So today, it is a fundamental right under the law for everybody up to the age of 14 to get education. That means everybody can go to the court, everybody can go to the Supreme Court, that this is his right to get education. So up to the age of 14, everybody has the right, fundamental right to get education, right? So this is right, as well as it is a necessity for everybody, that every parents have to send their children up to the age of 14 compulsorily to neighborhood school, and that means elementary education. And every private school will have to take 25% of their class strength from weaker sections, right? And their fees will be funded by government. So this way, the purpose of this clause is that people from weaker section should also get an opportunity to get education in good English medium schools and other schools. Today, it is unfortunate part that everybody is going after English medium schools, while I am of the opinion that primary education should be in mother tongue, because that will build greater confidence, that will build a greater attachment, greater receptivity will be there. The student will be able to develop faster. The student will have greater self-confidence, and the student will be able to connect well with the family. While if you impose English medium from early schooling, well, this is the trend anyway. Nothing against the schools, but this is not a very healthy practice, in my opinion, because true development of a child can take place only if the education is imparted in mother tongue. So again, in right to education bill, a number of provisions are there regarding the education. There will not be donation, capitation fees, and no admission test, no interviews of the parents. Child can be held back. Child cannot be beaten. Child cannot be held back in the school as a punishment, and the new law do not permit teachers to punish the children. No physical punishment. This is a good way. The purpose is that we have to promote education. So there is a provision under the Right to Education Act to establish a commission to supervise education. There are provisions, there are plans that the present regulatory bodies, because the regulatory bodies are only creating problems, and so long as you have regulatory bodies, there is very high corruption in government department. So the purpose is not to regulate, but to self-regulate. Therefore, over a period of time, the government will replace these bodies with some other bodies which will try to inculcate self-regulatory practices. New education policy has also been announced. All of you should read this new education policy document, which has given very high weightage to the basic concept of education, that up to elementary education, the education should be imparted in mother tongue. This is a very good point. And the new education policy also talks about imparting vocational education, which is also a very good point. It also talks about creating an education which is able to connect the students with the surrounding, with the environment. So greater flexibility should be given to the schools so that they can design their curriculum, they can innovate, they can experiment. They should not be asked to follow a fixed curriculum. Rather, they should have the liberty and the freedom to innovate, to create innovative curriculum, and showcase to the world their own capability. All schools have to adhere to the rules and regulations laid down in the Law of Education enacted in 2010, which introduced Article 21A and compulsory education for all children up to the age of 14. The new law requires that every school should have a management committee and should have some representatives of parents and guardians, right? So, I mean, those schools which are having government funding, or those schools which are government schools, will have to compulsory follow it. Private schools can decide whether to adopt it or not, but they should also adopt it. So the government schools do have the provision now that they induct some parents and guardians into their school management committee, so that the parents can also participate in the process of management of schools. Teacher training is very important. The new law also highlights this aspect, and the education policy also talks about it. So what is teachers training? Teachers training is like a B.Ed program or other program, which B.Ed, M.Ed, or teacher training programs, BSTC. These programs are designed to impart required training to every teacher, so the teacher knows how to teach, because that is very important. If teacher doesn't know how to teach, there can be so many problems. Teacher should know how to handle different type of children. There may be some gifted children. There may be some very brilliant students in the class. There may be some average student. There may be some slightly below average student, right? Teacher should not humiliate any student. Teacher should not compare a student. Teacher should not do ranking of the student. Teacher should not create competitive environment in the class. Teacher should rather create a collaborative environment. A teacher should try to foster an environment of collaboration. If a teacher will start organizing competition in the class, only one student will get at the top. All other students will face inferiority complex, and there will be competition, there will be stress in the minds of students. We don't have to create any such environment. No teacher should create an environment where students start feeling stress. No teacher should create an environment where students start feeling jealousy. Therefore, teacher training should have very good contents, should really orient teachers that they have to nurture students, they have to grow the students, they have to mentor the student, undertake counseling of each student. They should personally talk to every student. They should personally motivate and inspire every student. And ideally, one class, I mean, you should have a teacher-student ratio of 20, means one teacher can handle 20 students in his or her class, not more than that. If you will have 60 students in one class and one teacher, the teacher will not be able to talk to every student. The teacher will not be able to remember even the names of every student. While ideally, every teacher should remember the names of every student, should be able to communicate with each student, at least at the primary and secondary education level. That will help the teacher to connect with the student. There should be proper communication between teacher and student. So Right to Education Act enacted in 2010, and there are some issues regarding Right to Education Act. We need special laws with regard to education of the disabled children, and we need to have very clear standards regarding teacher education. The present guideline of teacher education is inadequate. We require teacher education training to be sharpened out, and the Right to Education is not giving any details about how disabled people should be taught, because those who are having physical disability, for them you require special educators, and in most of the schools we don't have special educators. So you require special schools, special educators in the beginning. Once they are grown up, once they are confident, they can later on switch over to regular schools, because by that time they are also able to learn these skills to communicate with others. Now, Right to Education Act has been enacted, but you also have to see its implementation. Are we having really good implementation? If you go to villages, you'll find many schools even do not have proper toilets. If you find an opportunity to visit villages, particularly visit the village schools, find their infrastructure. Find, even if classrooms are not okay, no problem. At least toilets should be very good, in very good conditions, but that is not the case. So if classroom is not over there proper, the teachers bring the children and open and teach the students in below trees. Fine, that's what they do in villages. But if toilets are in very poor condition, then there is no cleanliness, then what is the message that we are giving to the children? We are telling the students to follow proper hygiene, proper sanitation, and we are not able to provide proper hygiene to the students in government schools. So what is the message that we are giving? So that is a big problem that we find in it. Then another thing is sports. Sports should be, used extensively, and the students should get plenty of opportunities to grow in sports. But as yet, most of the schools are not giving adequate emphasis on sports. So these are the issues. If school education is improved, obviously it will improve the environment, it will improve. If school education is improved, it will improve our society. So school education is crucial for a brighter future. If we really want to have a great future, we have to invest into education. On this aspect, the efforts of Delhi government must be appreciated. Delhi government invested heavily into improvement of schools. So all the government schools in Delhi have been uplifted. Their infrastructure is today excellent. So their case studies should be read by all of us, how they have been able to transform themselves. Every school has a good school management committee. Parents are actively participating. Every school has good infrastructure. So how government schools in Delhi are so effective, so impact making? Why can't we transform other schools in every city, every village? So every village should come forward, should take initiative for transformation of the schools, because ultimately if the schools will transform, the future of the village will transform. So every school should take initiative for this, and should enable its students to get the best education within the village. The laboratories need to be improved. In fact, it is not possible for many village schools to have the best of laboratory. So what should be done? Some people should come voluntarily and establish an online laboratory kind of thing, where online demonstration of different chemicals, different equipments can be shown, and every school can be given an access online, because internet is now accessible everywhere. Village schools can also use internet, show to the students different laboratories, and the laboratories can have simulators whereby the students can undertake practical simulations. They can mix different chemicals, different compounds, and see the results. So some little bit of training can be provided in this way. Thereafter, there should be provision whereby those who are very good schools, they should give access to other schools to provide an access to their students to visit their sports facility, their laboratories, so that these two limitations are solved. There are hundreds of sports. It is not possible for every school to have the best of sporting grounds. If there are 10 schools in a village, in a city, each one should specialize in one sports, should create equipment, should create infrastructure, and that school should provide access to other schools. This kind of arrangement has to be done. So a lot of such things have to be done. The emphasis has to be on sharing the resources. Sports grounds are idle most of the time. These are used hardly 2 or 3 hours a day. While if you introduce sharing, or if you introduce provisions for reuse of these sports ground, you make the sports ground open to local community teams, you make the sports ground accessible to other schools, then more and more people will be able to use the sports grounds. They'll be used more often. There will be more tear off. There will be more repairs and maintenance. There will be improved infrastructure later on. So these steps have to be taken up. So the mayors of the city, the local administration have to come forward to introduce effective measures for education. If education is improved, it will create better citizens, which will ultimately transform our society in future.